Hey everyone, how you doing? I hope you're having an absolutely awesome week so far. I've had a lot of requests over the last week or two about people wanting some support and advice on how they can actually improve their eating habits, reduce overeating or binge eating or chronic dieting, improve health issues like IBS, sugar cravings, and improve one's body composition and or weight. So there are really 4 stages that I work through with my own personal clients and also myself, whether I am going into comp or whether I am in fact going into just mainstream healthy living. So the difference between the two would be one's a little bit more structured than the other, but there are 4 stages. So if you're someone out there right now who is finding it, some of these challenges and or is presenting some of these challenges within yourself right now, both physically, nutritionally, and mentally, then listen up, because this might just help you get a little bit over the edge, give you a little bit more insight, and help you take an easy way into retraining, redesigning, and re-engineering your relationship with food. Let me just tell you, it's not a fast process. It's actually, in fact, a slow process, and each phase lasts for about 21 days, 21 to about 28 days. So there are 4 phases. Phase 1, we're going to start right down the bottom here. And that is removing inflammatory foods. Don't know if you can all see that there. Okay, so removing inflammatory foods. Most of us consume poor quality dairy, gluten, alcohol, overdose on caffeine, and also refined sugar. I will also add in there another inflammatory food, are eggs. Yes, lo and behold, you might find that a little bit of a surprise, but if you are having intolerances and your diet seems pretty clean and you are having eggs in your in your daily eating, then what I would suggest is maybe just for a week, take it out, see what happens to your body. So while your body is in an inflammatory response, that means basically your body's pissed off, nothing can actually move from there. You can't improve your health, you can't put on muscle, burn body fat, improve your weight, if that's what you're looking for, whether it's decreasing it or increasing it or what have you, or just generally have a really good sense of vitality, energy, and mental health as well, which means you have that clarity as well. So the first thing that I do with an individual that I'm working with is we actually remove all those foods. Okay, so we remove all those ingredients: gluten, dairy, caffeine, refined sugar, and alcohol for 21 days as a minimum, up to 28 days. So the reason why we're doing this is allowing your body to actually reset and get rid of all the toxins that are going through your body. Through this time here, you can eat anything else you want in whatever amounts you want, whenever you actually want. We're just focusing on removing inflammatory foods. And if you do want some help and insight into what kind of foods or how to put recipes together around that, I've got an anti-inflammatory cookbook that I'm happy to send out to you as well. So you can tune into that just by sending me a text message and or an inbox, and I'll be more than happy to send that across to you as well. Okay, so 28 days, remove inflammatory foods. Generally speaking, what I have found over this time, people telling me and my clients telling me is they feel the brain fog's gone, their bloating's gone. The average person drops just 2 kilos of just toxic fluid and weight and what have you. They're feeling a lot happier and better within themselves, more confident, and have a general sense of well-being. Okay, and the reason why we're doing this for 21 days as a minimum is it takes 21 days to make or break a behavior, and it takes twice as long to make it into maintenance. So that's the first phase that I go through when I'm working through with individuals. Okay, so phase 2. Food timing. So phase one is really just, like I said to you, it's just removing the inflammatory foods. Don't worry about the timing, don't worry about the portion control, don't worry about nothing else. Just take foods out that your body does not like, okay? Phase two is getting in rhythm with the food, okay? So creating a structured time that your body can predict when it's going to get fed every single day. Okay, now some of you might be shift workers, some of you might have unpredictable hours. We don't generally do the same thing every single day, 7 days a week. And if you're a parent, you know, your Monday to Friday can be quite busy, and then your weekend can be still busy but different. And you might find that you forget to eat, and then you overeat at one meal. So my suggestion here is in phase two, food timing, is first of all, look at your weekly schedule, okay? Look and see what all your Mondays are like, what all your Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays, all the way through to the end of the week are like. And then ask yourself, what would be the best time for me to eat at each of these periods? You want to have at least 3 consistent times every single day with 2 snacks on either end, but definitely 3 consistent times. Now, you're probably wondering, how does timing play into this? Well, let me tell you, when I'm not competing and when I'm just in my off season, I don't really have specific timing of food. I'm kind of like just, you know, going it by wing, doing it a little bit intuitive. The moment I've put my energy and my focus on timing when I eat my food, my composition literally shifts by a good 5% just in the first month, okay? And the reason that actually happens is your body wants predictability when it comes to food. So if you're eating breakfast at 9 a.m., it wants to know by 12 o'clock that you're going to be consistently giving it the same food on that particular day, so that it can actually burn the food that it has been eating, so it can do the job it needs to be done, and not playing the guess game. Because the body is really smart, and you're never going to outsmart her. And if you're in a position where she has to sit there or he has to sit there and guess when she's going to get fed or guess when he's going to get fed, it's going to put a plug on your metabolism. It's going to send a stress response to your adrenals that release cortisol and adrenaline, the stress hormone, and it's actually going to do the reverse for you. So your body, you're going to be eating all this great food, but you're doing it all over the shop. And so you're not maximizing your composition if you're looking for more of a body transformation. So decreasing your body fat levels, increasing your muscle mass, or just, you know, getting that nice beach body that you all want. So those that are able to eat consistently every single day at specific times, whether it's 9 and 12 and 3 and 6 and what have you, what you'll find is that there'll be a significant shift as early as a week. If you're a shift worker, or if you find that some days are going to be different from other days, it's just going to take a little bit longer for your body to build that predictability, okay? I'd say probably 21 days to 28 days. But if you consistently do that over time, you're creating a reputation where your body can count on you to deliver the goods, i.e. the nutrition, when it needs to. So we've got phase 1, remove inflammatory foods. Phase 2, food timing, okay? Phase 3, food portions. Now, I could probably spend hours on this topic, but I'm just going to give you the real basics right now, okay? So generally speaking, food portions, I'm addressing here an individual's basal metabolic rate. I am not taking into consideration how much extracurricular activity that you do, including your accidental exercise or your NEAT per day, and or your deliberate exercise, i.e. weight training or any sports or cardio that you're doing additional. This is just your basal metabolic rate, which is how many calories your body needs each day just to function, just to survive. So how do we know how much we need to eat? An easy way of doing that, if you're not really into like weighing your food, which 95% of us aren't, is the following. So protein portion. So your protein portion is the size of your palm. Okay, for those of you that are a little bit more analytical and want to know exactly how much that is, you're probably looking between 80 to 120 grams, depending on the size of your hand and how big you are as an individual, okay? The next one we've got under that are carbohydrates, okay? So we've got carbs. And carbs are broken down into obviously your starch. We're broken down into your vegetables. And they're broken down into your fruit. Now, you'll have to excuse me, because if you hear the dog in the background, he's probably found a cat running up the wall. But anyway, let's get into it. So you've got your carbs. So you've got your starchy carbs. A portion size is about the size of your fist, or about 80 grams. Vegetables, it's the size of 2 hands put together, okay? So you're looking at around 200 grams in terms of your vegetables, okay? And then you've got your fruit on top of that, okay? So your fruit, you're looking for like, one piece of fruit, whether it's an apple or a banana or an orange, something that, is the size of your hand when it comes to carbs per serving size. Okay, now let's get into fats, because this one can be a little bit trickier, okay? So we've got fats over here, right? So here we go. So fats, and I'll talk about the caloric index of that in a moment. If we're looking at oils, we're looking at about the size of our thumb, okay? So that's probably maybe 1.5 tablespoons if it's an oil, okay? If it's things like an avocado per serving size, you're looking at about 1/4 of an avocado or 45 grams. And if we're looking at, let's say, nuts, okay? So nuts, we're looking at around 20 grams, or, enough where they cover 3 of your fingers, okay? So the 3 fingers right there put together, enough to fit in that little space there, or 20 grams. Or that would be like 10 to 12 almonds. That would be a fat serving size. Okay, I think I might have covered a fair bit there. If we're looking at dairy, okay, like I'm not a big fan of dairy. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have it or anything like that. For me personally, it doesn't work. It's a highly inflammatory food, so it's something that I definitely limit when I can. But a serving size in terms of, let's say, you wanted a piece of cheese, would be the size of 2 of your fingers together, or you'd be looking at around 17 grams of cheese. So now that you know what food portions are and what sizes they actually are, how do we put that together? Well, generally speaking, the way that I break it down is you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, so they're the main meals. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner should include 1 carb source, that's a starch, 1 fat source, and 1 protein source. Now let me get into protein sources quickly, because I did skip that. Protein source, if you are someone that does eat meat, that would include like your chicken, your beef, your fish. What else is there? Obviously, protein powders would be equivalent to 1.5 scoops or 30 grams would be a serving size for most, if you're putting that in there as well. So that is what I would do for each one of my main meals: a carb source, a fat source, and a protein source. Okay, vegetables, personally, I don't. I include them in every one of my meals. So I include it in my breakfast, I include it in my lunch, and I also include it in my dinner. And the reason being is because vegetables, it's not just about focusing on the macronutrients, it's also about focusing on the micronutrients. And if you're minimizing the amount of vegetables, fibrous vegetables that your body's getting every single day, there's a whole host of micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, phosphates that you're actually leaving out. So I always include that. And I generally put in my fruit post my workouts, or if you're just an everyday person, I'll use it as a snack, and I'll have it I'll generally have my fruit in the afternoon, and generally with my fruit, I'll generally have a scoop of protein powder, sometimes, other times it might just be the fruit by itself. And then on the other side, if I'm having a snack mid-morning, I keep it to the fats. And the reason why I have fats in the morning as my snack is just to stabilize my blood sugar levels so I'm not going up and down. But that's another conversation as well. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a carb source, a fat source, a protein source. And on either end, you're having fats as a snack at one end, and you can have carbs as a snack at the other end. Okay, so that's phase 3. So let's just reiterate everything that we've gone through right now. So we've got phase 1, which is remove those inflammatory foods. Phase 2, timing of the food. Phase 3 is food portion. Once again, you want to stick to each phase until you are absolutely 100% confident that you have established a rhythm that is easy for you to do unconsciously and automatically, okay? Phase 4. Food combining. Okay, now this one's a big one. I'm probably going to do some more videos on this later on during the week, but food combining, it helps you get to that next level of performance, okay, and that next level of composition. So this is something that I play a huge focus on when I'm getting ready for comp, because I know that certain combinations of food will work better in my body to get me leaner, harder, faster, and to put more muscle on. How do you determine this? Well, there's a couple of ways, okay? The scientific and the technical ways I will get my clients and myself as well to go get a comprehensive blood test so I can work out if you have any deficiencies in any vitamins, minerals, basically what all your hormonal markers are doing, and that'll allow me to be able to utilize natural sources of food to balance out your hormones. So for example, let's say I'm naturally someone that doesn't retain minerals like potassium, and I'm naturally iron deficient. I know that every single day I'm going to make sure that in each meal I have iron-rich food and potassium-rich food like bananas and meat as well. And that makes a huge difference personally through my own experience and working with my clients in an individual's performance. They get stronger, they get leaner, they get harder, they put more muscle on, they're sleeping better, they're more balanced, their cravings go away, their internal psychological wiring and their function tends to be a lot more balanced, so you tend to be a lot more calm as well. So I know I could go into this a lot more, but I'm not going to, because I think everyone right now here that's listening to this is going to get a whole lot of leverage from those first 3 levels. And when we move, and next week what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into food combining a little bit more for different specific case studies. So I hope that has helped you out. Let's just go over it one more time to make sure that we're getting it all across to you. So phase 1 is remove all inflammatory foods. Those inflammatory foods are alcohol, are sugar, are caffeine, dairy, and gluten, okay? Phase 2, food timing. Get your body into a rhythm that is predictable. So she or he has a reputation where she knows when she's going to get fed so she can maximize and fuel your metabolism. Number 3, food portions, okay? Carb source, fat source, protein source. Protein source is the size of my palm unless it's protein powder, and then it is 30 grams or a scoop and a half of protein. Starchy vegetables are the size of one's fist, so that's generally between 80 to 100 grams. A vegetable sauce is both your fists together. I like to have a vegetable sauce in every one of my main meals, purely because of the micronutrient content, and I generally will have a serving or 2 of fruit a day, and that would be enough to hold in one hand or the size of your fist, like a fruit, a fruit being an apple, an orange, a banana, or what have you. And fats are oils are the size of your thumb or a tablespoon and a half. If it's avocado, it's 45 grams or a quarter of a medium-sized avocado, and nuts, we're looking at around 20 grams. Food combining is all about making sure that we're putting foods in your staple diet that are going to enhance your performance and enhance your composition and enhance the athletic goal or the your lifestyle goal that you're wanting to achieve, so you can be the best version of yourself from the inside out, in terms of balancing out your hormones and making sure that your body's getting all its requirements it needs each day. So like I said, this is generally covered with a blood test, but I do have some homeopathic testing that I do around that. If you would like to learn more about that, don't hesitate to reach out to me at lisasaganbodyfit.com.au, or you can just send me an inbox on Facebook, or at my Instagram, which is Lisa Sagan Body Fit. Apart from that, I hope you have had an absolutely awesome day, and I will see you next week with my fourth topic on food combining in more comprehensive detail. Apart from that, see you all later.